look in the mirror, man, you're so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never worthy. Lately it's you.
Welcome to the Jeremy Hill Show. If you're easily triggered, leave now, because this is not the show for you. Now, what I'm going to be discussing with you, ladies and gentlemen, in this reaction video is I have a good answer as to why most women, black women in particular, why most of these women are unfaithful to their men, why women who are unfaithful tend to remain unfaithful even after they found what they call, quote unquote, the perfect man for them. So we're going to break this down. We're going to discuss pair bonding, and I actually found the woman who actually is going to speak on it, which is kind of rare to find it in this way, the way that she detailed it. So let me put it on the screen, and I'll also be giving you some facts, data, and statistics about this same topic. Hold on one second. Let me get it up on the screen for you. 1 second, y'all. All right, now let's go ahead and get it. Let's get it.
So a lot of us grew up being very promiscuous. If you did not grow up that way, bless you, you saved yourself from so much damage. But because I grew up like that, when I got into a relationship that was actually a real relationship, and now my marriage, I realized that I didn't have a desire anymore, even like for my husband. And although my husband...
Did you hear what she just said? Because she was living the streets, being a woman who really was out in them streets, living a lifestyle of crazy promiscuity. She was unable to be satisfied with her husband. She did not have that same desire that you think a bride would have for the groom. All because she has given her womb out to so many different men growing up from her childhood into her adulthood. We're going to discuss everything from oxytocin all the way to the brain mapping. We're going to keep going though, and let her talk.
And although my husband and I would have sex, it was like really hard for me. Like I really had to push myself to go there. And it was like an internal battle I fought because I felt so bad. I'm like, am I not attracted to my husband? Like, why don't I want to have sex? Yada, yada, yada. In the world, we are taught that sex is better outside of marriage. Sex with your husband, when you become one with them, is actually like the highest form of praise to God. Like our bodies were meant to have sex and meant to be unified with one another.
Exactly. When a woman sleeps with her husband, it is bringing her closer to her man. Now, we're going to come back to what she said, but first, let me put some information on the screen that is very important to this message. Hold on 1 second. Let me get out of this right quick, and let me go ahead and pull that up, because y'all need to understand that the facts, data, and statistics about that. The lady's telling you already that being a woman who live a lifestyle of running those streets can be detrimental to your relationships. Now, let's get it. Make sure it's there. Okay, there it is. Now, it says, this is my source, y'all. My source comes from Family Life. It says, Hooked, the bonding power of sex. Okay? Excuse me. All right, here we go. Casual sex and having multiple sexual partners can make it harder for women to pair bond. Oxytocin. Casual sex can decrease the production of oxytocin, a neurochemical that's important for pair bonding. Oxytocin can also amplify a person's senses of their sexual partner's face, smell, and voice. It makes the woman appreciate every intricate detail of her man, of her husband. This oxytocin is a bonding agent or a bonding chemical. It helps the woman fall deeper in love, if you will, with the man who she said, I do too. But when you are a woman who run the street and have trains ran on you, threesome, sleep with random men, then you are actually destroying the oxytocin in your mind to the point, or decreasing it to the point where you cannot bond with a man. This is why you'll find so many women, and men and women alike know women like this, who we know don't deal with her. Don't ever get in a relationship with that woman right there, because that woman right there is a 304. And we know that whenever she gets a man, she can't act right. She can have good men come in her life, and she can't act right. She got to run in them streets. She got to find a thug. She got to go find some kind of way to please herself with another man. Let's keep going. Synapses. Repeatedly attaching and detaching with multiple partners can weaken the synapses in the brain that are needed for deep emotional connection. This can make it harder to stay connected and increase the likelihood of divorce. The fact that you are sleeping with so many men, it makes it easier for you to not be satisfied in a marriage with a good man. The men that you say that you want to protect you, the men that you say you want to provide for you, the men that you say you want to have as a loving husband and a good father, all right? Because you are opening your womb to everybody who comes around, you cannot even bond with him. Let's break it down. Let's keep going. Got some more to show you. Now, let's talk about brain mapping. Okay, brain mapping, basically, before I read it, is where you can develop habits in your brain that you are comfortable with and that you will always go to. You know, like when you have a bad habit or a good habit of doing things like that, you are actually brain mapping. You are making a map in your brain. Okay, this is what I need to do this morning. This morning, I like to get up and go run. This morning, every morning you do the same thing. Every afternoon you're doing the same thing. Bad habits are good habits because when you do it and you keep doing it, you start to engrave that into your psyche to the point where it's a part of you, and that's what you do as routine. Now let's keep going. Brain map. When someone has casual sex and break bonds with each new partner, their brain forms a synaptic map of one-night stands. This pattern can become the new normal for that person. So when a woman is out there enjoying her hot girl summer, tooting it up, busting it down, all that good stuff like that, whatever they want to call it, if you want to call that good, they are making a routine that they will continuously live by. And it's very difficult for a woman to break out of that. Sometimes it takes therapy. Sometimes it takes a strong religious experience, if you want to call it. For people who claim to be spiritual, it might take you, getting in church and really following what you believe. For other people, it might take therapy. It's a habit. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, being a hoe is habitual. Did you hear what I said? It's like an addiction for women, because although they want to say they're equal to us, they are not, because they can't handle promiscuity the same way that men can. They can't. They want to say that they can. I can be a boss. I can do whatever, man. But even science itself proves that you are unable to. Now, you can argue with Mr. Hill all you want, but you cannot argue with the facts and the findings, the statistical data that have come from science, man, through observations of certain groups of people who are living and thinking like this, or this woman testimony right here where she's telling you she had a hard time trying to be loving to her husband. You can't deny these things. You can't. You can argue with a whole lot of people, but you can't argue with a person's experiential knowledge. You get what I'm saying? Now let's continue with what she's going to say.
Our bodies were meant to have sex and meant to be unified with one another in deep intimacy. And this lady told me, she was like, some of you need to forgive yourself for being promiscuous. Some of you need to forgive yourself or forgive the people that have introduced you to perversion and the things that you've seen, even like as...
Now, I like when she said that. Now, all that forgiveness stuff, what that really means is, like, you need to forgive yourself. I mean, you need to take accountability. That's all it means. Now, when she said people who have introduced you to perversion, now I want you to understand something. This is another reason why women should not be sleeping around. Let's say, all right, I'll speak about me. I like head. A lot of people love to get head, right? The only reason why a person likes to get head is because they've been introduced to it. Now, if they've been sleeping around with people for years or whatever, and they never did that to them, then they don't desire it. It's only once you experience it and then you like it that you demand to have it done all the time for whoever, for whatever partner you're dealing with. Now, that's a part of what you like. So why I said this to say this. If a woman finds a great man, a good man, and like, he puts it down, but he don't put it down like Pookie did. In other words, he might, excuse me, hit it at the back door, go in the butt, you know what I'm trying to say? And she desired a desire for that now. She has gained that, all right? So now the good man, he's not into that. So now she's with the good man, but she probably cheated on the good man with the dude who ramming up her ass because that's what she really liked. Even though she knows this is a good man. She's not necessarily addicted to that, to another man or any type of man. She is addicted to that feeling. There's a song said, hooked on a feeling. Basically, she's hooked on a feeling. Another thing, let's say another man, he's average in size. You get what I'm saying? And she really loved this man. He's a good man. But all her life, she done had 10-inch bricks put up in her. You know what I'm trying to 10-inch with the vein on it, pointed to the left. That's what she likes. She loves that. But she can never find that size of pipe on the good man. So she finds on the good man, she finds the pipe that she don't really care for. And I'm not saying that's how it is with all men, but you get what I'm trying to say here. So now she with the good man, but she cheat on the good man with the man that has 10 inches of rock hard steel. See, it makes it hard for women to appreciate marriage or the man or desire when they are out there opening their legs. Let's keep going.
Perversion and the things that you've seen even like as a child. And that made so much sense to me. Because think about it, you guys. If we were never meant to have sex outside of marriage, then we wouldn't be having these weird thoughts inside of marriage of, oh, I'm not that person anymore. Oh, I'm not promiscuous anymore. Oh, I'm not this. Oh, I'm not that. But that's
a good point. If you wasn't supposed to be popping it open, busting it open for everybody, you wouldn't be thinking, man, I regret what I used to do. Now you got all these other kids from Pookie and Ray Ray. That's a result of you being out there running these streets as well.
That's a lie. You were meant to be hot with your husband or hot with your wife. You would have became a freak anyways, eventually, with your husband or your wife, right? I don't know, man. I hope that hit y'all the way it hit me, because it made a lot of sense to me. It'll only make sense to the people that it's meant for.
She's right. It will only make sense to the people that message is made for. A lot of people gonna buck against that, but I done gave you statistical data. I done gave you proof that comes from science and stuff like that in this woman's personal experience. You cannot pair bond successfully with a man. Every time, even if you get a good man and you try to make yourself not cheat on him, okay? If you try, there's still gonna be things about that man that you're gonna compare to somebody else. Man, his doggy style good, but it wasn't like Tyrone. I mean, Tyrone used to knock this thing back, boy. He used to bust my back up. But I love him. I need a man like him. Until Tyrone come back in town, he like, man, he's a good friend. You ain't gonna try to tell yourself, I want to hop on Tyrone. You gonna say like, man, he a good friend, man. We have a history, man. I wonder what he up to. Let's see if we have a coffee date. You go over there, and he put some cream in your black coffee. I'm just telling you the truth. So you let me know what you think about this in the comments, man. Hope y'all feeling all right today. And I'll be talking to you soon. Y'all take it easy now. Y'all be safe now, you hear?